So in this video, I'm gonna go over all the malls that are in Manhattan in New York City. There are so many shops in New York City that you almost don't even have to go to malls at all. It's not like you're in a suburban location where people who live there heavily rely on the mall. It's definitely not like that in New York City. I think that malls are kind of more of an afterthought. Now, there are some really, really nice malls, and I definitely think that you should take advantage of them if they are close to you or you wanna make a trip to these malls. But at the same time, there are so many other shops in so many other neighborhoods in New York City that you really just don't need to go to malls. But nevertheless, I'm gonna go over them in this video. I also do think that there is just nothing like going to the mall and just spending a day either shopping or window shopping. Maybe it's because I grew up in a small suburban town and that's what people did on the weekends. You would go spend a Saturday at the mall. But I don't know, there's just something about it. So the first mall I'm gonna go over is the Shops at Columbus Circle. I would have to say this is a very, very nice mall, but it's a little bit on the smaller side comparing to some of the other options I'm gonna go over. So it's an upscale mall in the Time Warner Center in Columbus Circle. So you're gonna be looking at 59th Street and 8th Avenue. This mall is kind of where Midtown West and the Upper West Side meet. That's where this mall is located. And it's also extremely close to Central Park. So the mall does feature some high-end retailers, some really good dining options, and also a Whole Foods as well. So at the time of this video, at least they do have an H&M, they have a Lululemon, they have a Williams-Sonoma. I love a good cooking store. Just gonna put it out there. I absolutely love it. And they do also have like a J. Crew as well. They do have some stores that are more like affordable, I guess you could say, compared to some of the other retailers that they have in this mall. So those are just a few of the less expensive retailer options that they have there, at least at the time of this video, because these malls are changing all the time. And like I said, they do have high-end dining, and they do also have a spa in this mall. Very pricey spa, but I hear it's very, very good. So the next mall on this list is going to be the Oculus. And now if you've never seen a picture of the Oculus or have never been, we're gonna put a picture or a video of the Oculus in this video somewhere because you have to see it. It's truly one of the most incredible malls I've honestly ever seen in my life. I don't think I've seen anything more fascinating than this. It's like an architecture masterpiece, I would say. The shopping center is located in the World Trade Complex, and it was built up after 9/11, so it is fairly new in the grand scheme of Manhattan. Basically, the architecture is like a white steel structure. It's supposed to represent a bird taking flight, especially when the time that it was built, it was really representing just like new beginnings of Manhattan. Honestly, it's truly incredible. Of some of the malls on the list, this is one of the malls that I frequent the most, so I would say that I do spend a lot of time there, and I never get sick of the architecture because it's just so gorgeous. I just love looking up at the ceiling and like seeing the sun come in. When it comes to shops in this mall, this is a Westfield mall, so some people might recognize the Westfield name based off of the suburbs because there's a lot of Westfield malls, I believe, all across the US. Some of the retailers we're looking at here is they have an Apple store here, they have a Cole Haan, they have a H&M. They also have a food hall in this mall. It's relatively small compared to some other food halls in Manhattan, but if you're looking to get a quick bite to eat, there are plenty of options here. And also they have Eataly. So Eataly has 2 locations in Manhattan. The main flagship New York City location is in the Flatiron district, but they have a smaller downtown location in the Oculus. I do have to say, I really do like this location as well. And sometimes I think there's nothing like the original Flatiron Eataly, but the downtown location, it is a little bit smaller, but I would say way less tourist traffic. So it's nicer to be able to walk through this Eataly because there's just less people there. In the Flatiron one over the years, it's just gotten crazy, crazy touristy and just busy overall. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just hard to walk through and actually like see what you're getting. So I do like the downtown one because I just feel like there's more freedom with walking around. And the restaurants are to die for in this Eataly as well. So I highly recommend you check that out. So One World Observatory, the actual observation floor, is located in the Oculus. So you can get to that through the Oculus. Now, the next mall on the list is called Brookfield Place. Now, I do want to note that the Oculus that I just mentioned before and Brookfield Place are actually connected. So you can easily make a day trip out of both of these combined. Funny enough, I'm actually sitting in Brookfield Place right now. I live very, very close by Brookfield Place, and my office and this little studio I have here is actually in Brookfield Place. So it is a mall, but it actually has office space as well, and that's where I am. I definitely say to combine the Oculus and Brookfield Place because Brookfield Place has a few high-end shops, but there isn't a ton of shops here. But there is also some really good dining options as well, and also another food hall here in Brookfield Place. And I know that I mentioned that there's one in the Oculus, but there's also another one here. Between the two of them, you have some really, really good food options. So some of the retailers that you're looking at here are Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Michael Kors. They have some smaller brands as well. And actually, they're about to open up a Nike soon here. Lululemon is here too. And they actually have a Starbucks Reserve in this mall as well. Now, I do have to say, I don't love drinking Starbucks coffee in New York City because I think there's so many good local, like small coffee shops here in New York City that people should take advantage of that and not just go to the Starbucks that they can get pretty much anywhere in the world at this point. I don't really love supporting Starbucks in New York City. However, I'm going to mention this one because it's a Starbucks Reserve and people are very, very interested in Starbucks Reserve. So I've also been to the biggest Starbucks Reserve that is in the Meatpacking District as well. So I have to say that this Starbucks Reserve is nothing special at all. I honestly would recommend skipping it or just kind of treating it as regular Starbucks because if you go in there and order something that's supposed to be off like the specialty Starbucks Reserve menu, half the time they don't even have it. I don't even know why they call it a Starbucks Reserve, to be honest. Like, you pretty much can basically just order regular like Starbucks coffee and like beverages there. Honestly, it baffles me. I have have no idea why they call it a Starbucks Reserve. I guess I can say that it is a little bit nicer inside, so the aesthetics are more like pleasing than like maybe your average Starbucks, but other than that, it's nothing special. So I would not make a special trip to this Starbucks Reserve at all. And on a happier note, they do have an ice skating rink right outside of Brookfield Place in like the colder months. So the last mall on this list is also the biggest mall on this list, and that's Hudson Yards. Now, this is also the newest mall on the list because as of when I'm filming this video, it's only opened up in the past few years. Now, there's been a lot of controversy about the whole Hudson Yards development as well. So Hudson Yards is a neighborhood, but I'm just talking about the mall in this video. Now, when all the development in Hudson Yards started to happen, a lot of people were kind of upset about it because they were saying that it's kind of ruining the old school charm of New York City because it's very, very new age. And if you spend time in Hudson Yards, you definitely get that feel. Like it is very new, and I don't want to use the word like sterile, but it is a little bit like that. So I do have to say, I do like going to Hudson Yards occasionally. So I do have to say, it definitely has the most mall feel out of all the malls on this list for sure. Like it does kind of have a suburban mall feel, but a very high-end suburban mall because there's a lot of high-end retailers in this mall. So there is also high-end apartment buildings here as well. Really, really good dining options. You also might recognize this mall area by the Vessel as well. We'll put up a picture of the Vessel like architecture structure here in this video too, so you can see it because a lot of people know this area by that new architecture structure. So this mall just have designer stores just like all the others, but they do also have, they have an H&M, they have a Zara in this location, and they have a Lululemon as well. I think everything on this list included a Lululemon. So not only do they have really good like dining establishments here, but they also have some like cute cafes for like a quick snack or like grab a coffee or something like that. I do like that they have more of these options in this mall. And no, it's not just like a Starbucks like the other option that I talked about. So you might have heard of the Edge rooftop, and basically what it is a observation deck, but it's kind of like jutting out of the building, so you literally feel like you're standing over all of Manhattan. So you can get to that observation deck through the Hudson Yards Mall, and also at the time of this video, they just like launched a ice skating rink up there as well, which I think is really, really cool. I have not been, and I have not seen it yet. I think that's like so awesome to be able to be like ice skating in the sky. So they're always trying to bring something kind of like new and engaging into Hudson Yards. So if you watch some of my other videos, you might have heard me talking about this, but Hudson Yards around Christmas time is one of the most beautiful holiday decorated malls I've ever seen in my life. I think that they announced last year that they used like 1 million lights to just completely like deck out all of Hudson Yards. And we'll also put a picture in this video so you can see what I'm talking about, but it really is incredible. So I do highly suggest that if you're making a trip to Hudson Yards, pair it up with the holiday times because it's something that everyone really should see. Now, just keep in mind that it could be a little touristy because a lot of people are coming in to see that, but it really is worth seeing. So those are the malls that make up Manhattan specifically. Now, I also would love to do a video in the future talking about other malls outside of Manhattan as well, but I just wanted to keep it in this video to Manhattan just for the sake of time in this video. Let me know what your favorite mall is in the comments of this video, or if you like another mall much better than any of the malls here in Manhattan. As always, I just love hearing from you guys.